It's strange how silence speaks louder than noise sometimes. In a world where every moment is posted, shared, liked, and commented on, some people vanish from the feed. They scroll quietly, observe everything, but almost never post. Maybe you know someone like that, or maybe you are that person. And the question keeps coming back. Why? Why would someone choose to stay invisible when the whole world seems to be screaming for attention? The answer isn't as simple as shyness or introversion. Beneath the surface lies a fascinating psychology about self-perception, emotional independence, and quiet resistance to a culture obsessed with visibility. See, for many, silence is not emptiness. It's control. It's the power to decide what the world will and won't see. Social media has reshaped how we define ourselves. It rewards noise, performance, and display. But those who choose to step back, who remain unseen, are often the ones who see the clearest. They watch, analyze, reflect, and they do it without needing validation. Psychologists call this self-restraint and emotional independence. Studies show that people who rarely post tend to be less influenced by social comparison. They aren't performing for likes, they're observing life as it is. Think about it. Almost everything we post is a form of identity crafting. Every picture, caption, and story asks the same question. Do you see me? Do you approve? But when someone stops posting, they detach their sense of self from digital approval. Suddenly, experiences become theirs again. Private, authentic, unfiltered. For many, the choice to stop posting comes after emotional burnout. Maybe they once shared constantly, but the constant pressure to perform online became exhausting. Life felt like a stage, not lived reality. So they withdrew quietly, without announcements or explanations. Here's what's often misunderstood. Not posting doesn't mean not feeling. Often, it means feeling too much to reduce life into posts. Psychologists call this psychological ownership, the instinct to protect memories, experiences, and emotions from the judgment of others. Sharing can dilute that sense of personal ownership. For people who choose silence online, life becomes about presence instead of performance. Cooking without photographing it, traveling without tagging it, experiencing without explaining it. This quiet resistance fosters a deep self-awareness few ever achieve in a culture of constant display. But not everyone who doesn't post is peaceful. Some retreat out of fear of judgment, rejection, or misunderstanding. Social media amplifies what psychologists call self-presentational pressure. Every post is a small performance, and for some, that pressure becomes unbearable. Ironically, the quietest people online often have the loudest inner thoughts. They don't need an audience because their life is already full, rich, and observed internally. Their stories aren't measured in likes, they're experienced in memory, in conversation, in the small details others overlook. Studies show that people who step back from posting experience higher emotional stability, greater life satisfaction, and stronger internal validation. When your worth isn't constantly mirrored back through notifications, it solidifies internally. You stop living for approval and start living for yourself. Some people even begin to see the world differently. Colors seem brighter. Conversations feel fuller. Time slows down. By stepping away from the dopamine loop of likes and shares, they reconnect with what truly matters: presence, authenticity, and self-understanding. Of course, this isn't always easy. There can be doubt, insecurity, and the occasional feeling of invisibility. But over time, silence becomes a form of freedom from comparison, performance, and superficial validation. In a culture obsessed with visibility, not posting becomes a radical act of It is not about disliking social media, it is about refusing to let life become a highlight reel. They understand that the most profound experiences, grief, growth, love, transformation, often happen away from the screen, unseen by anyone but themselves. The paradox is clear. Those who live quietly often feel life more intensely. They notice the small details, the subtle moments, the richness that is invisible to those always performing. Their silence is depth. Their invisibility is presence. So next time you notice someone who doesn't post, don't assume they're disconnected. They may have discovered a truth the rest of us have forgotten. Being unseen doesn't mean being insignificant. Sometimes the most meaningful life happens off camera. Sometimes the most human thing you can do is keep some moments entirely to yourself. Because in the end, we are not meant to be performances. We are meant to be people. And those who don't post remind us of that. Every quiet, unfiltered, invisible, and profoundly human moment